So thank you very much for joining. I wear today one of the many hats. I wear the hat of the founder of Impact Market Romania, which is an organization I have created last year with the help of bringing all this knowledge about other companies, B Corp, in Southeast Europe. Our mission at Impact Market Romania is to grow this movement, to help companies get access to information and to get them get access to other B Corps from where they could learn what they've done, why they've done it, and what kind of benefits are in this B Corp certification. So before starting, I have to introduce a co-moderator, which is Bojan. And I asked him to join me today because all the time I present on my own, and that this time I need maybe a support and a man on my side. Bojan is another B leader like me from Bulgaria, and I know that he works for his company, but I also know that he does some crazy things. And Bojan, please introduce yourself shortly and tell us what you're doing.
Hi everyone, hi Corina, thank you for the warm introduction. So my name is Bojan, I'm from Bulgaria. The last year I spent in Barcelona in sustainable business and innovation. There I also got certified by B Corp, and my sustainability course I had on two different projects related to sustainability for the fashion and Mango. The first one was about helping them create their own biodiversity strategy and also benchmark them to their competitors. The second project was a B Corp project. It was also for Mango, and did the B Corp assessment using the BII tool and also provided recommendations for improvement for the company. After that, I went back to Bulgaria, where my family owns a sport swimwear business. Now I'm currently doing the B Corp assessment for them as well. And I'm also working on other sustainability projects related to strategy and communication. And I can't make an introduction about myself without saying that I'm also a BMX rider. BMX is a little bike for tricks, for those who don't know. This thing is making me travel the world all the time to work on different video projects, contests, and events. And related to that, I have my own brand for BMX footwear and apparel. And this is also taking up a big chunk of my time currently. So that's about myself.
Sounds interesting. So you do a lot of sustainability work and you also use your bike to jump crazy heights. So this is a good combo, I would say. And
exactly.
I'm happy to have you with us today. So today I invited few speakers, as I said, that are coming from this region where we are, and they have worked hard to certify the companies where they are to become B Corp certified. And today we're going to learn from their journey, you know. And I like to start with the first speaker. I warmly welcome Hester from Humans in the Loop. And Bojan, I would like you to lead this discussion, please.
Yeah, I would like to introduce Hester. She is the Chief Impact Officer and Interim Director of Humans in the Loop and the Foundation as well. Humans in the Loop is a Bulgarian B Corp company with a social mission working across Europe and Africa, helping conflict-affected and displaced individuals by providing them with different trainings and work opportunities in the field of AI. So Hester, I would like to begin with a question for you, and that's what was the business situation that led you to take the B Corp certification journey in the first place?
Yeah, so thank you, Bojan, and thank you, Corina, for having me here today. It's lovely to meet you all. So for us, we became a B Corp last year, so we're very new to the B Corp movement, but we've been working to make social impact in the area of conflict-affected people since 2017. So I'll tell you a little bit of our personal story. Eva Gomnishka, our founder, who sadly can't be with us today, she's currently on maternity leave, so taking some time to do something else very important, was studying in America and particularly interested in human rights and refugee rights. She returned to Bulgaria and saw the situation, especially with the Syrian refugee crisis, where while a lot of great organizations were doing wonderful work to support people with basic needs, there was a lack of initiative and lack of work around economic integration, especially in relation to the digital economy, which was growing and becoming more and more of an opportunity for people who were looking for work. So we were set up in 2017 with the mission to provide work for people affected by conflict. But at the same time, because we're working in the sphere of AI, to contribute to the AI sector by making it more diverse and ensuring that we can develop and work on models which are about AI for good. So that's about healthcare innovation, perhaps also technologies to do with environmental sustainability, and things that are really going to make an impact, a positive impact on our society. So we always had that social mission. And when it came to developing as a business and growing, the B Corp movement was something that was an obvious next step for us because it just aligned so well with our mission to be a business that is delivering a great service for clients, but also at the same time making a really big impact to people's lives on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, it sounds that social impact is inherent to your company, so it made perfect sense to follow the B Corp path. All right, so could you tell us a bit more about what were the challenges and opportunities that you faced along the way while doing the BIA assessment?
Yeah, so for us, I mentioned that we were a growing organization. So one of the really helpful things about the B Corp certification process is that you have access to so many templates and also questions which can help you think about how you can develop your business to be better, not just in terms of social impact, but also making sure that all the structures and processes that a growing business should have are in place. So even before the certification, we were able to see the benefits. It helped us to reflect about the way that we were working to implement new processes and to move forward to put structures in place. So for us, this was a really big benefit. Also for us, it's been great to be able to connect with other like-minded businesses and to discuss with others and push the movement forward together, which is about recognizing that business is not just about profit, but is also about how we can make a social and environmental impact. So these were some really big benefits for us. Some of these also kind of suggest some challenges. And one of those is that we did have to do a lot of paperwork and we did have to put new policies and processes in place. Also, and I know that Petar, who's going to speak later, will probably mention this, the process between submitting documents and certification can be quite long. And so this can be challenging because you're waiting a long time, but also you might find that you submit all your documents and a year later you get somebody coming back to you and asking questions and asking for more documentation. So when I was speaking to Eva about the process of certification, she said to me, just if anybody is thinking of becoming B Corp certified, tell them, make sure you keep all your documentation in a very clearly labeled and accessible way so that if you are questioned about anything or it's a long time between the submission of documents and the final certification, you know where to go back to and you can make sure you find everything that you need in order to carry on with the process.
Yeah, it's definitely a long and a process that requires some effort, but you did well. So, having already this experience behind you, could you give some recommendations to other entrepreneurs that are thinking to go on the same path and take the B Corp journey?
Yes. So my recommendation, apart from to keep all your documentation in a very clear, labeled and accessible way, is definitely to start the process, because I mentioned before that the B Corp and the B Lab resources are really, really fantastic resources. And even if you don't feel now that you are at the right point to certify, perhaps you're thinking this is something that is not a goal for this year, maybe in 2 years, in 3 years, in 5 years. I would recommend that businesses that are thinking about taking that step and beginning to think about their social and environmental impact, if it's not something that they're already working towards now, register and begin to explore those resources. So little by little, they can begin to integrate them into their everyday work and begin on that path.
Makes perfect sense. I think that's some solid piece of advice. So after you get certified, we know that every 3 years you have to recertify with B Corp. So what actions do you plan to take to keep your certification?
Yes, so we're very pleased with our certification mark, and onwards and upwards. I've talked a lot about social impact, and that really is our mission, to make a difference to people who are displaced because of conflict. But when I'm talking about social impact, one of the things that can be hard or perhaps get left to the side is environmental impact, which is something else that is really important to B Corp certification. Also, as a company that's working in the IT sector, it's something that I think, depending on what type of work that you're doing, but in our case, the type of work we're doing, which is around labeling AI models and is very much about providing a workforce to the IT sector, it can be a little bit difficult to trace the environmental impact of our work. If we want to know our true carbon footprint, we really need to be working really closely with our clients in what is a competitive market anyway, to find out more about the utilization of their models and their own environmental impact. So for us, I see in the next 3 years a real focus on trying to understand better the traceability of our clients and their environmental impact, and begin to think about that in addition to the social impact, because we also know, and it makes sense for us to consider this, because we know that more and more people are going to be displaced, and that a lot of that may be from environmental disasters linked to climate change. So while we might say we really want to solve this issue of people who are already being displaced, as an organization that's working in this sphere, it makes sense to us to also be thinking about the environmental impact. And that's something we could definitely do better, I think.
It's really good that you have such a clear vision. This will definitely help you in the future. Okay, Hester, thank you very much for sharing your experience and insights.
Thank you very much, Hester.
I would like to continue with our next guest. This is Petar from Ampeco. Hi, Petar. He's the head of Strategic Alliance and Sustainability at Ampeco. Their company got B Corp certified last year and is a global leader in EV charging management, providing businesses with innovative software solutions that allow them to enter the EV charging market. So that's a very current topic in sustainability. So Petar, I would like to start with the question, why did you choose to take the B Corp journey?
Yeah, thanks for the introduction. So I think one of the main reasons really is because we're a global platform, and we have a long-term vision to be an enabler in the EV charging transition. What this really means is that essentially we offer one thing only. It's a platform, but this platform can be used by different operators of charging infrastructure. It could be used for operators who work, with home chargers or public chargers or fleets, so different applications of EV charging. And we currently work with about 150 clients across 55 markets. And this for us means around 100,000 chargers, but this number is changing pretty much weekly with quite fast paces. So this fast pace plus the fact that we started to work with larger and larger customers pretty much got very close to the idea that we want to grow in the long term in a sustainable way. We want to make sure we have the right process in place. So that's why back in 2022 already we had this proactive approach where we started the B Corp certification process. As Hester mentioned, it did give us a lot of insights into what type of policies we need to put in place. But that's just one part of it. We also understood that we as a cloud-based platform, most of our emissions will be in scope 3. So what really focused is optimizing the costs we have for cloud services and focusing our development efforts to, ultimately optimize emissions, because costs are equal to emissions in our case. And this helped us to really develop a very cost-optimized solution, while at the same time we also took care of our internal governance. So it was a win-win.
All right. Like for any other company, I guess the process of certification was not seamless for you as well. So could you share any challenges that you faced along the way? And of course, any opportunities for positive change that you observed for your company?
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing was to really translate the value of the B Corp certification process into business-related objectives. So how do we then, after completing the certification, really promote that to our audience and educate them on what it means? This was quite a difficult process that at first we didn't see a lot of reaction, but now slowly, and I think this is also due to the progress in the space of sustainability. We see more and more companies reacting to the different highlights we have from the B Corp certification process. And also, I would say we did have the certification in July, but we didn't stop there. So we have since completed an EcoVadis assessment, which gives a bit a different outlook, especially into the social aspects and the governance aspects of it all. And now we're in the process of kickstarting a process for ISO 14001 certification for our EMS. So really we're looking at the B Corp milestone as just the starting point. And now once we have it and once we start seeing the recognition, it's also easier for me to communicate with our board, with our executive management about some of the other initiatives we have to do. So it's really snowballing from here onwards.
All right. Do you see any difference in the reactions of you being a B Corp between Bulgarian clients and international clients? Because that's something I'm wondering about.
Yeah, no, that's a very fair question. And the truth is, yes. I mean, it's quite obvious that given the small number of B Corps in our region, it's a challenge to promote what you've just achieved. We have most of our clients in Western Europe and in the Nordics, where they have dedicated B labs, for example, in the UK and the Nordics. And to them, it's actually a very good sign, a sign of trust and reliability to see a company from the region who has passed that process. Whereas I don't believe we communicate this at all with some of our clients in the region. We don't have that many, but we really focus on what would get them faster to the market, the technical aspects of it. So this is still, the focus, which is the core business operations. Whereas the more developed markets, first they have greater GDP and they think about different problems, but the different market players are aware of upcoming sustainability requirements, and also their investors come with this mindset as well. This is also an important point to mention here.
All right. Then having that said, what do you think are the biggest benefits your company got from being a B Corp?
I covered some of it, so I guess all of my remarks could be taken also from that perspective. But really, I would say it allowed us to streamline the process for our expected growth over the long term. And stay clear of any stupid mistakes we might have along the way. This is really appreciated by our customers. So I think it was also very customer-facing achievement for us.
All right.
That's wonderful, Petar.
Then in
Thank you.
2 to 3 years, you will also have to recertify. Yeah, Corina, would you like to say something?
No. I just wanted to say that it's absolutely a great example of a company in this energy field, which is nowadays very critical. But please go on.
Yeah, I would like to ask Petar, what are the plans that they have to keep their certification for after 2 to 3 years, because they also need to recertify?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I believe we should be able to recertify because we're not really degrading any of our processes. It's, as Hester also said, only upwards from here. We also ranked above 100 points. And certainly, this long certification process didn't take into consideration a lot of the new, procedures that we introduced. So we will certainly rank higher. I hope, of course, the threshold remains the same, but I think it will. So it's really, we're actually very much benefiting from the suggestions that are provided in the areas of improvements. When we started earlier, well, it was in November, December last year, when we started working on on this year's sustainability report. Last year we published our first, and this year we're going to publish our report in probably late April. We want to work on those areas of improvements and try to address them. This is also a good, marker for progress on how we answer those open questions. So we certainly keep that in consideration.
Okay, thank you, Petar. Finally, I would ask you, what kind of advice would you give to other companies that want to take the journey?
I guess the question is, what type of advice? Well, don't be afraid to start, even if you're just by yourself. That's what I did. Now I have a team working with me on that, and I managed to get support from across the organization. We're about 110 people now. So also referring to the size of the company, it's important to consider it. Of course, if you're in a larger company, perhaps you need a couple of other champions. But try to start really as soon as possible, even if you're by yourself. That's my message to all companies who really are prospecting the B Corp opportunity. So it's not that difficult.
Thank you very much. Now I'm giving the word to Corina. She can go on.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Petar and Bojan. It's really a great advice. Start with small steps, but please start and do it and don't abandon it. So I want to now go to the next speaker, which is a Romanian entrepreneur who she has worked a lot in Western Europe, and she has managed to influence the life and the work of many entrepreneurs from the sustainability field. And I'm talking about Ioana Hardy. Thank you for joining us today, Ioana. And before I start with anything else, I want to tell you congratulations for becoming a B Corp certified business. Not long ago, we are still celebrating this in our mind. Please tell us, what was the situation and why did you decide to go for this B Corp certification? You're muted. It happens all the time.
Thank you, Corina. Absolutely great to be here. And thank you for the invitation. Yes, I got certified. We got certified because we worked together on this in November. So it's very, very fresh in my mind. I'm still tapping into all the resources that the community has to offer. Now, to your question, why I looked for
B Corp certification. Just a bit of a context of what the company does, because that will also help answer the question. So my company is called Impact Group. So as you can hear, impact is at the very core of this company. So what it does, it offers trainings and workshops to sustainability entrepreneurs, mainly those entrepreneurs who solve environmental and social challenges. And we know there are quite a few of those. So we really work at the level of marketing and sales to make sure that they scale their solutions. So there are solutions out there, but sometimes they are not able to scale them. So when I started this company, impact was at the very, very, very core of it. And over the last 3 years, I did a lot in terms of, trying to increase the positive impact for my clients, for communities and so on. But what I found is that I was a bit all over the place. So there was no structure, no strategy in the way I was approaching. I couldn't really measure. I couldn't see where are my gaps, if there are gaps, where are my opportunities. So I was really looking for a framework, to be honest. So initially I really want a framework that could help me see what I'm doing and how I can more meaningfully increase the impact that I'm already making. And that's how I came across B Corp. And I still remember Corina explaining to me what it means, what it does, and what you get out of it. And I said, okay, I really want to do this. So that was the why behind it.
So, Ioana, what do you think are the opportunities and the challenges that you felt by doing this B Impact assessment, which is not easy game for anyone?
Lots of them on both sides.
Can you tell us some concrete examples where you had to change things?
Absolutely. So in terms of challenges, I will stop at one, which I think is quite common, and I felt it, which was time. So it takes time to go through answering the question, go through the assessment, to the review, and so on. And as a founder, I was and I am the only one who has access to this information and can go through this process. So I did not have an impact, champion or a team who can feed me with information. So it was really another hat that I had to carry. However, what I would say that what helped me address this challenge was not considering going through a B Corp certification or the assessment as a project on top of everything that I have, but it was actually part of my of streamlining my operations, and it was it was part of my strategic exercise, which means that I would allocate the time needed, in bits, in chunks, but that's what kept moving, because it's very easy to say, I don't have the time, there are so many other things going on. And also what has helped me address this was, as I think quite a few already mentioned, is just get started, small steps, small bits, and it just moves from there. Now, in terms of opportunities, loads of them during the process itself, and I can feel already now with the certification that there are quite a few opportunities. So during the process, again, a lot of opportunities around introducing structure, introducing processes, introducing generally a more strategic approach to creating value. So just to give you a few specific details, customer feedback. So it's a very easy one, but once you introduce customer feedback, formal, informal, obviously you create more value for the products and services you have, and that also leads into better results in terms of business. Another one that was quite big actually for me, volunteering is a big part of what I do. And I found myself that I was doing lots of volunteering, but I did not have the, a structure in place. So during this assessment, what happened, I actually realized that I could focus on certain aspect. I can actually measure my hours. So it was, again, this idea of putting structure, having KPIs, measuring everything that you do. And I think that every single question that is in the assessment is an opportunity to bring something into your business. I honestly, genuinely believe that. So even if you're not after the certification, just by answering the question, it will reveal so many opportunities in terms of, what you can do in your business. And some you can act upon and others, don't. But yeah, so loads of opportunities. And after now that I have the certification, again, I will mention this because it's a slightly different situation that the previous speaker. So again, my community, my tribe are sustainability entrepreneurs. They know what B Corp is. They're very aware. The fact that I'm B Corp certified, it already opens a different kind of discussion with them. So there's more openness. That's one of the many, but I just wanted to mention that because it's slightly different than the other speakers. Yeah. So yes.
Well, and now that you're looking to the next phase of your business, because now you are certified, but you will have to recertify in 3 years. And definitely, I think you have already some focal points in your mind that you will work on in the next period of time. Can you give us some example where you focus?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, what was nice about the whole assessment and then the review process is that you have, through the platform that B Lab has put in place, is that you have the opportunity to really define tasks for yourself, kind of follow up through. So that was really, really organized, very structured. I really like that. So indeed, I have like a whole plan with action points. But in terms of directions, a big one for me is I have already a theory of change in place, but I want to review that and improve, which means that I will create more transformation for my customers. Again, more transformation means that they will be able to scale even more their environmental and social solutions. So that is one big direction. The other one is to continue the work around policies. Again, this idea of structure, this is also great for me because I'm a growing business. So having these policies in place, it really will help me then as I bring a team in to, have a single voice, know how things are done. And another direction that is very important to me is looking at the supply chain ecosystem. So I already, when I decide who to work with, whether they're my direct suppliers or they're freelancers, I already have things in place, but I think I can definitely improve even more in this area through policies, through more structure, increasing the percentage of suppliers who are maybe underserved, or hiring freelancers who are in, again, areas that might be affected by war and so on. And one that is very, very dear to me, it's not necessarily part of the assessment, but is really dear to me, is really inspiring other entrepreneurs to go into this journey, even if it's not for the certification itself, but just to ask themselves some question and just to understand how they can create or the power that they have to create a positive impact within their organization, within their community, with the customer supply chain and so on. So yeah, that's another big area for me.
Thank you so much, Ioana. It's really inspiring to hear your advices and your words. And I'm looking at Magdalena from time to time. She's nodding, saying yes, yes.
Yes.
So let me pass to another wonderful speaker. Magdalena is the Sustainability Director of Autonom Romania. And I think that Autonom, it's a business that is well known in Romania. I don't think there is somebody who doesn't know what this company is doing. You are leaders in the mobility service, and maybe, who knows, Petar and you will maybe initiate something together, since you work in similar, let's say, or connected industries. Magdalena, you started to look into the B impact assessment, so you followed some of the advices that were shared today. How was the journey for you? Because you are still in this journey. You're not certified, you want to become certified, but tell us, how was this impact you had when you started to work on your BIA, please?
First of all, let me say hi, and I'm really happy to be here with all of you. And I was nodding because when listening to Ioana and all the others, I could resonate with all that it was said before. I think the B Corp is something like those things to be the right thing at the right moment, at the right place. And we, the companies or those who apply for it, are the main beneficiaries of this, because it's a combination of opportunity and also of preparation. Because if you haven't done the proper steps before, you may not notice the opportunity and miss it, or just wait for you to prepare more. And coming back to Autonom, how we started this journey, I would say that it's the way we did everything else around sustainability, because we have a beautiful culture, corporate culture, that is based on values and positive impact in our communities, and of course employee growth, because everybody who knows about Autonom knows that we read a lot, and we get involved in a lot of projects around community. So when we heard about B Corp, I think it was 4 years ago when I first heard about it in a training, international training, and I said, wow, that's wonderful. How can we become B Corp in Romania? And then we met Corina, and everything, all the planets aligned. And we started this journey, so it was easy decision to start the process. And of course, it helped us. We had previous engagement in scoring and all other type of assessments, and also reporting. It was easier, I would say, for us to go through this process, because we had some documents and some data that we could provide. But for the whole rest, it was a learning journey for us, even the sustainability team.
Yeah. I know that the company is taking sustainability really serious, and I know that through the foundation, Autonom Foundation, you work a lot with communities, you work a lot with people, you really implement a lot of the projects that exist in Romania nowadays, and you also make partnerships with other companies. So do you feel that this has helped you more into responding to these questions from the community impact area or environmental impact area from the BIA, and how do you think this helped?
I think it helped us structuring the way we do it, because when coming to Autonom Foundation and the way we usually develop projects in our communities, we have some basic internal rules, like having a team of 3, like being a team and not doing it alone, and having a small budget to implement this project. But it was better to understand the impact, because besides, I don't know, some criteria, this kind of assessment help you understand your impact. And if you understand your impact, like Ioana said, at some point you feel like you're going in all the directions, you can structure and stay together where the greatest impact is, and focus there, because it makes sense like this.
Mm-hmm. And
I would
you mentioned
I would
Please.
add some other important angles that came and that made us be happy about taking this journey and trying to get certified, because it was often it was common discussion with our investors. So besides this positive impact within communities and all the other stakeholders, one important stakeholder for us is the relationship, the strong relationship we have with our investors. And just mentioning that we are going through the BIA assessment makes them smile and growing confidence with us. And I think this financial outcome, I would say, it's a really important step for a company being at some point in their journey and trying to scale up and grow. So it's not an angle that should be neglected also.
So what would be your best recommendation or advice for anyone who wants to follow your steps and start a BIA? What would you tell them?
Take a leap of faith, like Peter said earlier, just start. Doesn't matter where you are in the process, because if you have data, it will be easier for you to fill in that categories. If you don't have data, you'll understand that you'll need them and will also be helpful in your journey, especially now that reporting is growing stronger in the European area, and will help you a lot with the process.
Thank you very much, Magdalena. Thank you. And I can only wish, for the next phase that you keep working towards the B Corp certification, but also keep working this strategy that you already applied with working with communities, with volunteering I know that each employee in Autonom is volunteering a lot in various areas of the country. So keep up the good work, I would say. And I hope that you will become certified. What do you think?
Yeah, of course we do, and then come and share our experience with it. I would say working with you, we did, as I said before, we been through this or other type of scoring or reporting or assessments, but now working with this impact assessment helped us see new angles to look at our business. So I think this is the main takeaway that we took, because at some points we are almost missing the point, and we could understand that we can look at things from a different perspective also. And
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you also, Magdalena. It is maybe, more coming to hand for a smaller company to become B Corp certified. But what do you do when you have a big corporation like Danone, CE region, that you need to certify as a B Corp? I can imagine this is a lot of work, but this is also a lot of data. And I invited today Cristina to share a little bit about this journey, how Danone, a Central Eastern European region, has certified. Cristina is the sustainability manager at Danone. Cristina, we are looking forward to hear from you about this huge journey of Danone Romania. Please.
Thank you, Corina, and thank you for working into growing the movement in this part of the world. As we all know that we comparing, let's say, with other countries from Europe and of course other countries from other continents, we are still like small in terms of people are not still very much aware about B Corp. So your work on this area, it's really, really good. And I hope that in time we are going to be more and more people, because actually we are talking about a movement. So the more people and more companies are part of this movement, the more it's we can talk about true impact on the society. So yes, Danone actually has received Danone Central Eastern Europe has received the certification at the end of this year. I mean, at the end of 2023, 2024, I can say, beginning 2024. It's actually, we are the first biggest company operating in the area to be certified, and we had quite a big score. It's over 100, 103.3. It was not an easy journey. And it is, you know, for us, it was as a benefit, the first benefit that we have after doing that is that you really put a mirror in front of the business and really assess everything that you have. Of course, you know, as a big multinational, you have lots of processes, lots of data that together, but sometimes due to so many work, sometimes you don't put everything together, or you miss some things that you do and you do it very well, or you miss some things that you can improve. So the best, you know, the most important benefit for us was this assessment. And I want to say something that, you know, maybe I'm sure that people that came to this meeting are aware about B Corp and what B Corp means. It's just that I wanted to underline that actually B Corp, it's analyzing and assessing several areas which are very important, you know, starting from governance, workers, community, environment, and customers. So it's assessing lots of areas. The first, when I saw the 200 and more questions, I was, wow. And then taking every question and every answer, sometimes it's very difficult to understand all the definitions and everything they are requesting. So it was a huge, huge work. But I'm glad that I could work, of course, with a team, because taking into consideration that actually the standards of B Corp are going across all business, across all value chains. So it was impossible for me to do it on my own. So I had to work, of course, with a team of topic owners, as I call them. And it was a decision for us to go to certify on the Central East East Europe countries, because this is the region we are operating in. Although it's another thing that probably you all know, is that you cannot choose an answer unless you have 80% of the whole. It's valid for 80% of this of your business. So taking into consideration that we had 5 countries, we had to make sure that every answer was valid for 80%, either for the business or 80% of our square meters when we are talking about environment. So yeah, that was a bit of challenge, but it was, as I said, it was nice to see shining and also improvement areas.
Can you tell us how long did the certification for Central European region took, as time-wise?
We decided, you know, to go for the certification, to start to get the certification last year. But before it was, we did an assessment in 2022, a pre-assessment, let's say, where when we went through the questionnaire, like in a for a first round, and saw a bit where we are, but it was like more not going so much into details, but we just wanted to see where we are, and we noticed where were the improvement points. So we did a pre-assessment in 2022, and then the whole assessment another year in 2023 with all the, let's say, a bit of improvements and audit, and, you know, the work and the audit. And yes, it's I don't remember, it was a speaker before saying that the best advice is to keep all your documents in one place. Yes. It is something that, yeah, it is something that it's very important to do, because, you know, you actually, for each of the question, each of your answer, you need to have proving documents. So what we did, we actually gather everything before the audit. So we didn't expect, waited for the audit and see, okay, they require this or that. We just prepared all documents and all proofs, so they were in the same place.
Where do you think, because I think your score, it's great for a big company like Danone, it's really great score. Where do you think you had the most of points, where you are happy about how much you scored? What was your area of impact you would like to brag about?
I can't say, because this is the thing about B Corp, because somehow it's measuring, it's kind of balancing in a way. Of course, you can see where you scored. We, for example, at the workers area, we really scored very well. But it's not only that. We had also some IBMs that we opened, and we discussed about, for example, Danone. It's with the IBM regarding the small suppliers. In Romania, I don't know if people know that the CE region has one facility, one manufacturer facility, one factory, which is in Romania. And more than 90% actually of the milk is sourced from local suppliers, from Romanian farmers. And 10% of this milk, it's coming from small suppliers, small farmers, which actually were developed with the help of Danone. It was a project from 2012. It's called Chance for All. And we started with, families that had like 1 or 2 cows. And we helped them grow, and now they are small farmers. They are over 220 farmers, which now are providing actually 10% of the milk. So this was an IBM that we opened, and it's also very important to open as many. We also had an IBM due to our business with specialized nutrition, which is actually providing health through food, as we do have specialized nutrition for both babies and adults, depending on health needs. So there are lots of areas. Also on the environment, it was very nice to see that we have clear targets, and we have set targets across value chain in terms of, energy, or in terms of different environment topics. So it's something that Danone is doing for a long time, and it's a commitment. It's also regarding the supply chain. So we are not looking only to our manufacturing or our products, like where we produce them. We are also looking towards our supply chain.
So would you recommend, if, maybe somebody from a corporation is looking at you right now and thinks, oh my God, should I start with the B impact assessment? Should I look into B Corp? What would be your recommendation and your advice for him or her listening to you? What to do?
I would totally advise for the company to take in consideration and to start doing the assessment, because I know that it's not having any obligation for the company to do something or to pay something. So the assessment is very good for any company to do, to see where they are, especially that, it's very much connected to the reporting. Actually, we know that the ESG reporting, and I know, and probably you also know, that B Corp is also reanalyzing now the standards and reworking on the standards, and they are more and more closer, even to this ESG reporting. So I totally advise companies to take the assessment and see how they are.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Cristina. And I like you to ask you to stay a little bit with us. We have some questions in the chat, and all speakers are invited to answer. We have a question from wait a second. Yes, we have a question from Gabriela asking if B Corp is a recognition, since you don't have EMAS or ISO 14001, how can you become a B Corp certified? Since you don't have a solid proof of environmental assessment, how can you identify the real impact? What would you say to this? How did you make your environmental assessment?
I would, for this question, I would underline that, of course, this part is environmental assessment. It's like, if you consider 200 questions, maybe 100 questions are more or less about environment. In a way, it's like either your part of environment, your target, but also supply chain. EMS, it's of course, it's a clear part of there are, some questions regarding that. But we need to consider, when we talk about B Corp certification, we need to consider that are so many areas that you need to, to gain, that sometimes maybe if you don't have like EMS, you don't have like the full percentage or the full points on that, you might gain full points on other environment parts. So of course, environment issues are a lot of, mean a lot of factors. So that's the idea.
Absolutely. But if you have them, you get scored more points.
Yes.
What do you think, Magdalena, from your side? Did this help you make your assessment better, environmental one?
We had a strong assessment in terms of environmental footprint. I think somehow it meshed with it. I'm trying to figure out how it would be for a company who haven't been through the environmental assessment previously, and I think the assessment would help. In our specific case, it was a confirmation or a validation, so it was helpful anyway, seeing it like this. But knowing that a large number of companies haven't even started measuring their environmental footprint, it's a starting point. It's a good starting point.
But it's it's good to have them. Of course, you can have bigger scores. Danone does have this ISO as well, and the scores a lot great on EMS. But indeed, there are other questions that can be helpful as well.
So I'm going to ask Hester, what do you think? You also have this environmental system management and ISO 14000. How was it for you?
Yeah, for us, as I mentioned before, when we measure our direct impact, it's very low because we are essentially an outsourcing organization, and our environmental impact comes from our workers who are mainly working at home on laptops. And so the initial environmental impact looks very low. And this is what is reflected in the B Corp certification. However, I already spoke about how there's definitely room for us to progress and go deeper in relation to kind of looking in more depth about our interaction with clients. But because we're not like some of the other people on this call developing a product, a tangible product with kind of supply lines related to things like food or production of goods, it's a little bit different in the IT sector. Even though we know that, for example, a lot of cloud services, etc., can have a large environmental impact, it's not such a big practice to be kind of environmentally certified in the same way that you would be required to in a production environment.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a second question from Doreen. He is asking, how did you make these assessments to avoid greenwashing? Hester, can you answer this?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question, actually. And I think there definitely is the possibility that some organizations would go towards B Corp status as part of a greenwashing agenda. We know that environmentalism sells, and increasingly we see there are large global businesses that are kind of are posting about environmental commitments but not following through. for the B Corp certification, the key is this 3-year recertification and reassessment, because I think you can develop a policy and you can say to B Lab, this is our policy, but you have to show change in implementation the next time you get certified. Yeah. So it's not as simple as just getting the certification and saying, okay, now we're a B Lab and a B Corp and look at our amazing environmental work that we're doing. You actually have to prove that, and there has to be ongoing improvement. So yeah, this I think is a way to avoid greenwashing. Yeah,
absolutely. Proving that you're doing this change is a key if you want to get certified. Ioana, what do you think about this greenwashing?
Greenwashing, it's such a huge topic. Well, I mean, let's look at what greenwashing is really trying to communicate something that is half true or not true, or it just gives the impression that you're doing something that you're actually not doing. So the thing with the B Corp is that it's a starting point. The fact that any of us is B Corp, it doesn't mean that we are perfect, that we do everything, you know, in terms of environment or social aspect. So when it comes to communicating something, I think it's very important to be transparent. Like, we have achieved this, but we're still working on. So I guess that this is where, you know, being B Corp means that, yes, we can communicate, you know, the things that we are doing or we have achieved when it comes to the environment or the social aspect, and the pillars that Cristina were mentioning: community, customers, governance, and so on. So all these points can be communicated, but also acknowledging that there's still work to do. And I would say that in greenwashing, it's very important to understand the language that your audiences understand, because we are we're using words, so many words that mean something to someone in some countries, so it's very easy to greenwash without even realizing. So being very specific about those things. I hope this answered the question. Yeah.
May I add something regarding that? I think greenwashing is usually, you know, we discuss about that, and when usually it's half the truth or not even half the truth. But we should consider the fact that B Corp certification is also about being transparent. So everything that, you know, the whole assessment that a company is taken is made public on the B Corp website. So there is no way you can say something and not being proved into the assessment that it's being made public on the B Corp website. So that's what I wanted to add.
Yeah, and I don't even want to think what it meant for you at Danone, this review phase and validation of your answers and the proof of all the documentation, all the policies you put there, Cristina. I think it was quite a challenge.
It was quite a lot of work, and I can say that my colleagues are like, they were the best of doing that, especially it was, you know, for them it was quite a short time to, you know, put everything together, and I had to dig in some data, but yeah.
Yeah, and for everything to have a document or any proof. Thank you very much. Magdalena, what do you think about greenwashing? You also report a lot, also in your sustainability area, so it's not only related to BIA.
But I think a way to avoid greenwashing is to be as transparent as you can, and talk also about the things that are not going that well. I mean, if you have a target on a different topic, like and we have on emissions, and we're not there yet, to be transparent about it and talk about our actions and the ways to improve it. And always have documents and data to support your information. If you're not trying to be brave, but it's a nice word that I heard recently, fluffy, to try to be as fluffy as possible. If you try to avoid it and keep it simple and have argument, I think you're on the right path.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Magdalena. And I have a last question here. Maybe Cristina can answer this. Could a group of companies be certified as a B Corp? Maria wants to know this.
Yes, we are living proof. Like Danone C region means that Danone has a different entity in every country, as we have different legislation. So we are registered as a different entity in every country, and we still could apply to get this certification as a region. So it's. Yeah, but I believe that the group of companies should be from the same, they should be in the same company. So it's not like there are different companies, like different businesses, I would say. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let's see if there are any more questions. If not, then I would say no, these are all the questions. Maybe one last question from my side. How are you feeling now? Sharing your B Impact stories, how you will leave this meeting. Yeah.
Less alone, I think. Less alone.
Less alone. Less alone. That's a great thing to say. How are you feeling? The others, Hester, how do you feel when you see that in Bulgaria you are already having 5 or 6, soon will be 6 B Corp, and in Romania we want to learn. Take from you the example. How do you feel by sharing with us your B Impact story?
I think it's always really interesting to hear about others, because it makes you realize the areas where you can improve and how we can learn from each other. So I know, for example, there are some fantastic initiatives with community and social impact, but there's also many people in the room who perhaps are more concerned with the environmental impact. And I've already discussed how this is an area of interest for us. So yeah, a learning opportunity. And as always, Karina, I'm always saying this, the work with the B Corp community is to convince those that don't already have a mission at the center of their business. So the more of us who have a social or environmental mission at the heart of our business, who can become certified and show that it makes business sense in the traditional sense of the word, the more we can move towards a more equitable society, I hope.
Yeah. Absolutely, Hester. And who knows, maybe you will expand your business in Romania and do some partnerships and projects. We would love to hear from this expansion. Magdalena, how do you feel about, you're at the, let's say, beginning still of the journey towards the middle. So do you feel now more confident than before?
If I would have to take it from the start, I wouldn't hesitate. So, yeah.
Okay, that's a wonderful advice. Wonderful advice. Cristina, are you ready to inspire other corporations? Maybe also in Romania, there will be people watching this recording, and they will contact you to give them some insight. So what do you think? Are you ready?
Of course, and I believe, as I said at the beginning, I think this is the core value of B Corp. It's about joining the movement and not being alone. And it's about collaboration, and it's about partnering into that. So I'm really, I really want to support this movement to grow in this part of the, as I said, in this part of Europe. So yes, and regarding the way I feel that today this color is kind of leading, like the red color. It seems that
yes.
It was not, you did not communicate. So in case someone watched this video, to know that it was not communicated by Corina, that this is the color of the day. So yes, it is just fun.
It's the color of passion. And I think there's a lot of passion in this virtual room.
Absolutely. And also the color of success. And by choosing this color, you already, said by wearing this, I'm successful. And I really enjoy the place where I am right now. Some maybe last words from Bojan. Bojan, you are working to certify your family company. So how is it to work for your family? How far are you in this certification? Can you
That's
share?
right. Yeah, it's very inspiring actually to do this job, and
Yeah.
it's very interesting because I grew up around this company actually, and now it's time to take some action around it, and being able to do some sustainability work for the company is really inspiring for me. And it's an interesting process and also challenging, because the most challenging thing for me is probably to collect all the data, because it's there, it's available, but it's not collected. Because before that, the company was never thinking about these topics. So now it's time to reorganize everything and to see how we can answer the questions and then prove them with the right documentation. So it's a great learning journey for me as well.
Yeah, thank you, Boy. And I think that the most difficult is when you work for your family, when you work with your father, with your mother, with your sister, trying to convince them, gather data, let's become B Corp certified, you know, let's prove as a family that we care and this is important for us. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining today. It was wonderful to hear your stories. I hope that this will be the start of some collaborations, who know, and I hope that you will keep in touch. And I'm looking forward to meet again with you sometime soon. I will let you know about this. But for now, thank you again for your participation and for your inspiration. I'm looking forward to see this growing movement in Romania as well, and follow the fantastic example from Bulgaria and around the world. Thank you again, and have a wonderful evening.